Hey everyone, it's Fun Around, and my name is Jordan, and welcome to Wednesday's slate of games. We're already through 1 week of the NBA. Feel like we're going to be in the finals in just a blink of an eye. I'm just kidding. We got a long way to go. A lot of data to accumulate. The format of this video is going to be a little bit different because I have some games where the lines are out and some games where they're not out. I don't have like a crazy amount of data from this season, but I'm going to go off of a little bit of last season and a little bit of what we're already seeing from this season for some of these picks. And then I'm going to kind of talk through some games that I think are going to have some good lines. And if I do find something that I like, I'm going to put that in a pinned comment, but I do have some picks for the video. You will see images that come up on the screen. Those will be from a data app called Outlier. There's a link in the description. I'll give you a 7-day free trial for Outlier. So let's first talk about the teams that are going to be on a back-to-back. We have just two teams. The Nets will be on the road against the fresh Grizzlies. We'll see if Ja Morant plays. If he is ruled out, definitely Desmond Bane is going to get a lot of volume, and Jaren Jackson Jr. Is a great scorer as well. And then the Pelicans and the Warriors, they're playing tonight. I'm filming on Tuesday night. They will play again. And usually when you have back-to-back games or even, a day off, we saw it with the Rockets and the Spurs, teams will actually make adjustments. Like, this is their job to play basketball. They're actually going to watch film and they're going to make adjustments to the team that they just played instead of, playing a game, reading a scouting report kind of on the next team they're going to play, and then, going playing that game. Now they have some film to look at. So whatever happens in this Pelicans Warriors game, it probably won't duplicate in the next game. So just keep mind of that. And the Warriors could potentially have Andrew Wiggins coming back. I know for sure Steph Curry will not be in that game. So just some things to think about when you're looking at those lines. But the first game I want to talk about is the Celtics and the Pacers. This was a matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals. Pacers like to play at a fast pace. They just gave up 50 points to Paolo Banchero, who is at the power forward position. They struggled against power forward position a lot last year. They struggled against forwards and the shooting guard position. So we're looking at Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum all in that zone. All the guys on the wing are the type of guys that they have struggled against last year, and it obviously is still carrying over into this season with Paolo Banchero scoring 50 points. Part of that had to do with Franz Wagner only playing 11 minutes. Paolo Banchero just took it upon himself to score a lot, and then even Jalen Suggs at the shooting guard position, because Anthony Black came in to play point guard. Jalen Suggs dropped 25 points and then filled up the other stat categories. So I'm going to put Tatum's points, rebounds, and assists up here on the screen. This isn't a bad play at 41.5. And, historically, put his history against the Pacers. It's not that bad. It's just sometimes Tatum can just disappear just for a little bit, and this line's not going to hit. We need like a perfect game. We need a really good game from him. And I wouldn't pay too much attention to the latter end of those stats, because those are playoff stats. Of course, he's going to be playing at his best. Early on is more of what you're going to get during the regular season. They actually played each other 5 times in the regular season. But the guy that I like, who's been a little more consistent, just because Tatum had that 15-point game last game, is going to be Jaylen Brown. I like him over 24.5 points at -120. You'll see in his misses, he's been right there. That first game was a blowout, so he didn't go over, and he's been taking around 20 shots a game. The volume is definitely there. And when we go back and look at last season's regular season, the very first game, he didn't play that many minutes. I'm guessing it was a blowout. I didn't go back and look at it, but he only scored 16 points in 25 minutes, but the rest of the regular season he went over this line. And I just like that he's getting right there at this line. Like, the floor is going to be right there, and then with the pace that the Pacers play at, is going to give him just some more shot opportunities. So I do like Jaylen Brown over 24.5 points. I don't hate adding on rebounds and stuff like that, especially rebounds. He's been rebounding very well. But I don't hate if you take Tatum, points, rebounds, assists, or, mix those up. I do think he's going to have a really good game. I'm just going to go with Jaylen Brown as my pick for the video. So just some things to look out for that matchup. In this next game, the lines are not out yet, but this is a game to definitely keep an eye out for. The Hawks at the Wizards. So they just played each other, and they're flipping home teams. So they'll be in Washington this time around. They play at the 5th and 6th fastest pace in the NBA. Both teams are top 3 in points allowed. So, yeah, I had completely forgot that these two teams played each other, and I wrote down these names. Trae Young assists, check out Jordan Poole points, Jalen Johnson points and rebounds, and then I had Kyle Kuzma question mark because he can be iffy sometimes. And then I went and I looked back and I was like, oh yeah, they did play each other, and it was, Trae Young assists looked good, Jordan Poole points looked good, Jalen Johnson points and rebounds, and Kyle Kuzma played really well with points and rebounds. The Hawks have always struggled against the power forward position all last year, and then the Wizards, obviously they struggled with giving up a bunch of rebounds because they missed a lot of shots. So this is just one where just keep an eye out for the lines. They're probably going to come out pretty high, pretty juiced, but maybe we get something that looks good, like a Jalen Johnson rebounds line or Jalen Johnson points plus rebounds. Definitely a matchup that could feed some families. So that's Hawks and the Wizards. I don't have any picks from that. Like I said, I don't have the lines out yet. So that's something you check the pin comment for. If I do find something I like, I'll throw it in there. So if you guys could, please like the video, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. If you have a little bit of extra time, could just leave the number 7. That'll help get this video out there for more people to see. If you'd like to get away from Prizepicks, try out something else with some better payouts, some dynamic payouts, different props, and to get to deposit match, try out Underdog Fantasy, Sleeper, ParlayPlay, and ChalkBoard. Use promo code FINDAROUND11 on any of these. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. There are links in the description that'll take you straight there with the promo code. Thank you to anyone who uses those. So I'm not going to go through every single game. There are some matchups where I just look at them and I'm like, okay, like Cavaliers, Lakers, I'm a Cavaliers fan, but just looking at the history there between the two teams, it's like nothing pops out to me. Make me say, I got to put that in the video. So I'm just going to talk about the games that I think, there's some potential there. So this Pistons and 76ers game. So Detroit actually gave up the most steals last year and the second most blocks. This season, they're already off to giving up the second most steals, and they're kind of right there in the middle, giving up blocks. And of course, there's not that many games of data for this season, but the steals looks consistent. So I like the line of Tyrese Maxey over 1.5 blocks plus steals at -139. He's gone over in 2 out of 3 games this season, and he went over in 2 out of 3 games versus Detroit last year. He's playing upwards around 40 minutes a game, so he's definitely going to have the opportunities there. And he's not just a guard that only gets steals. He does get blocks too. So I do like this line to throw into a parlay or something. I know the payout isn't that great, but definitely something you could throw into a parlay just with Detroit's history. And another guy for the 76ers that just popped out to me, and I was like, whoa, okay, this line looks pretty low, is Caleb Martin over 4.5 rebounds at -131. You could look at his points too. He has been scoring well, and Detroit has struggled against the small forward position when it comes to scoring, and they've struggled with rebounding. They're giving up a decent amount of rebounds to small forwards this year. And Martin's playing 34 to 38 minutes a game. He was one of those guys in that Heat run a couple years ago that just kind of blew up. He can have some really big games. So throughout the season, he's getting 12 rebound chances a game. And whenever you look at rebound chances, you normally just want to cut it in half, and that's kind of what you're looking at. So 6 rebounds. But you see he's had some really big games there. He had a 12 rebound game off of 15 rebound chances. So he's converting at a very high rate. And versus Detroit last year with Miami with less minutes, he went over this in 3 out of 4 games. And the one he went under, he played just 20 minutes and he got 3 rebounds. So I can imagine if he plays, 14 to 18 extra minutes, like he's been getting, he gets those 2 extra rebounds and goes over this line. So I do like Caleb Martin of the 76ers for 4.5 rebounds, -131. So the next matchup I want to talk about is the Magic and the Bulls. So I always got to talk about the Bulls because they play at the fastest pace in the NBA. I've talked about them before. The narrative coming into the season was they want to take a ton of threes. They want to play fast. And that's same with Memphis Grizzlies. So it's something to keep an eye out for with Memphis and the Nets. Someone like Cam Thomas is going to get a lot of shots up with that pace. But going back to the Magic and the Bulls, so obviously, Paolo Banchero just dropped 50 points. His line's probably going to be juiced a little bit. I went and I checked to see how the Bulls have done against power forwards. They're giving up third most points to power forward position and the 6th most rebounds to the power forward position. So definitely keep an eye out for Paolo Banchero's lines. Definitely going to be juiced a little bit. But if it's not that bad, or like the rebounds line, those could be ones that you potentially play just with the way he's playing right now, especially if Franz Wagner is out. Next game, Spurs versus Thunder. This is a battle between Chet and Wemby. Those games were fun last year, but looking at the data, they were fun, but it didn't result in like huge lines. A lot of these guys went under on a lot of them, but it's really difficult to take an under on Chet right now, or even Wemby. I know Wemby's been going under on his PRA every single game, but he's getting really close, whether he's getting 20 rebounds or scoring a bunch of points. He's getting like right there. So his lines are going to stay inflated, but he's just a scary under to take. Staying away from that game, I just wanted to remind you guys how fun that one is to watch. And then this last one that jumped off the page where I had to pick from is the Blazers and the Clippers. So the Blazers haven't been that great this year. But I do like James Harden over 15.5 rebounds plus assists at -125. You could add his points. He's been scoring very well with Kawhi Leonard out, like just coming like right under his points line. It's just with James Harden, he can ghost you sometimes and, drop less than 10 points. So I really like the rebounds and assists, and he's getting 17 potential assists and 14 rebound chances a game, which is just crazy. He did go under in 2 out of 3 games versus the Blazers last year, but he wasn't getting anywhere near these potential assists and these rebound chances that he was getting with Paul George on the floor, with Kawhi Leonard on the floor. He's kind of just doing it all himself right now when it comes to the rebounds and assists. And the Blazers this season so far giving up the 3rd most assists, so that's going to be big for him to find his teammates and have them convert those. So the way he's just been playing and just killing this line, I do like him for over 15.5 rebounds plus assists. That's one that you just got to take until he stops doing it. But he's been doing this for a while, ever since he went to the Sixers and kind of changed his mindset from just taking a bunch of shots, high volume score, to more of a passer. He's been really great at that. So I didn't take him much last year because he will ghost you sometimes, but and his assist line can get pretty high, but he's rebounding well too this year. So that added on can really help with this. So that's James Harden over 15.5 rebounds plus assists. So I know this video may be a little bit longer. I tried to get through this as quickly as possible. There still will be a pinned comment if I do find something. And there are still a decent amount of games that I did not talk about. Like I said, they're just not ones that get me too excited. So if you'd like to discuss lines further, I have a Discord. Link is in the description. You can hop on in there. Conversation will be going on about football. World Series is almost over. And then, there's esports, all that kind of stuff. So it's free. You can hop on in there. As far as a recap goes of a couple of days ago, I have to kind of limit myself because I get too excited when I see a bunch of really good lines or what look really good when you have 2 games worth of data. So I had Julian Champagny over 8.5 points. Everyone in the world was on him, and I started to get worried. I was like, guys, they're making the call right now, and he got cold and he didn't go over. I had Christian Brown over 6.5 rebounds plus assist. He hooked on that. Zach LaVine over 19.5 points. He scored 30. Then I had Chris Paul under and Tyrese Halliburton under. They both were awful going into this game. Their games, and Chris Paul went from scoring 3 points a game to 16, and then Tyrese Halliburton had almost a triple-double. He played amazing, so it's just like they knew. So staying away from unders from guys who are just having a couple of bad games. We would have to see a really bad stretch or have some proof. Like I'm taking Colin Sexton under 5.5 assists right now, and that game's going on. Looks like he has 1 when I started filming this. But he was giving 7 potential assists a game. So he would have to convert every single one of those to just break over that line. So like that has some, history to it, and his history versus the Kings. They kind of go hand in hand. So the next one was Stephon Castle over turnovers. You have a rookie point guard getting more minutes with Trey Jones out against a really good defensive team like the Rockets. He ended up getting 3 turnovers in the first quarter, and that was a plus money play, so that hit. And then I had Nikola Jokic, the one from Miami, over points, rebounds, and assists at 14.5. He ended up with 11, and he barely played. He played like 14 minutes. He didn't get his normal minutes that he was getting. I think it was a matchup thing, and Eric Spoelstra just decided to not play him that much. If he got his normal minutes, he would have crushed this line and gotten 20 like he was averaging. So, just keep an eye out for Heat players. If it's a matchup problem, Spoelstra is not afraid to just take the guy off the court. So I'm going to stay away from Heat players for a while. So it's not a great day, but the next day, Tuesday, I have 3 picks. They're looking pretty good so far. The last game hasn't started with the Warriors and all that, but hopefully these 4 do well, and then I can find something else later. Like I said, I don't want to go with like 7 plus, and I just want to keep it small and light since we don't have too much data, but I'm trying to do the best I can with last year, mixing it in with this year. We're kind of in that zone where it's like, does this year matter much? And it's kind of it's on the fence right now, whether it matters. If it correlates with last year, like the Detroit Pistons giving up amount of steals, like if that's still the same, then yeah, that makes sense. Like, okay, this matters. But if we have, Charlotte Hornets who give up the most rebounds to centers over the past 2 seasons, and now they're giving up the least amount, maybe give them 10 games and see, how they're doing against centers. So that's just a lot to talk about. It's going to be a lot for me to edit, but I'm going to get this edited and get it out to you. I hope you do well. God bless you. It's Final Round. My name is Jordan. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.